let's unpack this a bit. Why is a baseball player who, hasn't played for the New York Mets in over 2 decades still getting a check for over $1 million every single July 1st? Our mission today, a deep dive into the, fascinating world of pro sports finances, specifically deferred payments. And yeah, Bonilla's iconic deal is going to be our flashlight here.
Right, and what's truly fascinating, I think, is that this paycheck from the past isn't just some quirky anomaly. It really reveals so much about contract buyouts, financial strategy, all that stuff in big league sports.
It's not just a one-off crazy story then.
Not at all. It's like a window into how these teams manage huge amounts of money and, frankly, some really complex contracts over years and years. You might actually be surprised how many, let's call them grown-ups, are still getting paid like this.
It is pretty remarkable. So, okay, back in 2000, the Mets wanted to buy out the rest of Bonilla's contract. It was, what, $5.9 million?
It's a number, yeah.
And instead of, giving him all his cookies at once, they basically said, how about we give you a little cookie every year until 2035?
Right, a very long cookie commitment.
And with a little extra sprinkle on top, they negotiated an 8% interest rate, which turned that $5.9 million into, I think it's over $29 million total, paid out over 25 years.
Exactly. And the Mets, well, they felt pretty confident about this at the time.
Yeah, they thought they had a secret weapon, right? They were banking on these supposedly amazing returns from an account with Bernie Madoff.
That's the infamous part.
Really?
They expected double-digit returns, easily covering that 8% interest and then some.
They thought they'd found a financial cheat code, like a magic money tree or something.
Yeah, pretty much. But turns out it wasn't magic. As we all know now, that Madoff account was just a massive fraud.
So the Mets ended up just paying it themselves, out of pocket, out.
Big ouch. And if we, connect this to the bigger picture, you see, this isn't just a Mets story, even though they get the headlines for it.
Right, you said it's not unique.
No. While Bonilla's deal is definitely the most famous, these deferred payment contracts are, well, they're out there. Actually, Brett Saberhagen's deal with the Mets was kind of the inspiration for Bonilla's. Saberhagen's still getting checks, too.
Really?
Yeah, $250,000 a year until 2029. And then you've got others like Max Scherzer, Manny Ramirez. And Chris Davis is a big one. Yeah. He has a huge deferred deal with the Orioles running through 2037.
Wow. So it's like lots of big kids like to save their snacks for later, or maybe the teams made them save their snacks.
Sort of. It shows how these financial decisions, or sometimes missteps, can linger for a really, really long time.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
How does Bonilla's deal, which was basically a buyout for a player maybe past his prime, compare to a current superstar, like Shohei Ohtani?
Ohtani, yes, is a whole different level.
His deal is just mind-blowing, $700 million with the Dodgers. But here's the kicker.
Yeah.
He's only getting paid $2 million a year for the 10 years he's playing.
Right, a tiny fraction up front.
Then, starting in 2034, all the way to 2043, he gets hit with $68 million a year. It's like putting almost your entire allowance into a super long-term savings account.
It is, and this raises a really important question, I think.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a team like the Mets with Bonilla trying to, get out of a tough spot?
Trying to clean up a mess, maybe?
Yeah, basically. Versus a player like Ohtani using deferral strategically, actually, to help the team.
Okay, so why did Ohtani structure it that way?
Well, two main reasons. First, it gives the Dodgers massive short-term financial flexibility. They have more cash flow now to build the team around him.
Makes sense.
And second, crucially, it lowers their competitive balance tax hit. The luxury tax.
Right, penalty for big spenders.
Exactly. By deferring almost all that money, only its present-day value counts against their payroll for tax purposes right now. So that huge $700 million number looks much, much smaller on paper today. It gives them room to sign other expensive players without paying as much tax.
That's fascinating. So Ohtani's deferral is actually a strategic advantage for the team.
Precisely. It's a player and team working together, using the financial structure.
And the impact of these deals, looking back at Bonilla, it's just striking. Think about this. Bobby Bonilla's annual check, that $1.19 million, that's more money than several really exciting young MLB stars are going to make in 2025.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Like Pete Crow Armstrong, James Wood, Paul Skeens, the big pitching prospect, Riley Green, Hunter Brown, Jacob Wilson. These guys are making, high 700s, maybe 800,000. Bonilla's getting over $1 million.
That does put it in perspective.
It's like the grown-up who retired from the sandbox years ago is still getting more cookies than the kids who are building the biggest sandcastles right now.
That's a good way to put it. It really highlights how these long-term financial commitments just keep shaping the league's economics long after a player hangs up their cleats.
So, okay, wrapping this up, what does all this really mean for pro sports finances? Our deep dive shows these deferred deals are, well, maybe more common than you'd think, and the reasons vary a lot.
Right, you've got team buyouts from past issues, strategic moves by players. It's complex.
Definitely.
And maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. How do these incredibly long-term financial commitments really shape everything? Team strategy, yeah, but also player negotiations, maybe even how we value athletes and their careers.
Good question.
Makes you wonder, right? What other sort of money secrets might be hiding in plain sight in the world of sports, just waiting for us to shine a light on them?